Hello and welcome to another update. This time a winter update, not a fleet update. It's a yard update. Coming to you from this corner of my lockup, which is going to be a new feature. Stop glitching! It's been a rather popular update idea, this. The walk around the yard, the perambulation of progress, the meandering gander. Yes, I quite like doing it. But this time, it's a little bit early. And that's because something is about to happen that is so significant that I may well forget everything I'm doing otherwise. More to that next week. So let's just say the homeschooling malarkey has somewhat blunted my ability to be down at the yard doing my things. But also, let's not make excuses for it. Because I've had every opportunity to come down here once it's dark to do the kind of things that you would normally like to do during the day. But I haven't, because of a couple of things. One is laziness, and the other is the symptoms of laziness, which are lack of energy, interest, etc. Thank you. That is that out of the way. Now, how about some things that have changed? Well, the departure of my dear Alison. The MGF was an uncomfortable and upsetting ordeal, and you may be expecting a rather thoughtful, philosophical lament from me. But instead, no, I just pocketed the £200 so I could pay my rent, so I could stay working in this shithole. Although that does seem to be wallpapering over cracks somewhat, because I truly did love that car. I described Alison, the MGF, as my favourite ever car to somebody the other day, and that might be quite a surprise, but it's true, that's how I felt. And that's why it was called Alison and not Wet Leg, which was a name given to this car's former husband, who shows just how much he cared about it. Fancy calling your wife Wet Leg. Anyway, the car has indeed gone, and I'm left with just a few bits. There's these rather luxurious suede and leather seats, which I still need to find a way of getting rid of these strange stains from. And a couple of boxes of bits, which, as you can see, contain headlamps. In the end, it was a bit of a rush job to get the car out of the lockup and out of my life. A fresh, new and positive start for me by relieving myself of a car I always wanted to keep in exchange for £200 and a few bits. I shall not dwell on it. The purpose of these update videos is, of course, to show you the new things that have happened. And you may be expecting, well, probably not much has happened. Well, I've managed to make a video out of it, so possibly a lot has happened. Just not as exciting as usual. Or is it? You see, quite a few new things have happened. 3 rather significant things, I would say, but I'm going to save them until afterwards and just tell you about the boring stuff first, such as being ill. Being ill. For the past 3 months, I haven't been quite right, which sounds like I'm feeling sorry for myself. That's because I am a bit. I've had sinusitis, and no over-the-counter medication seems to get rid of it, so I'm constantly bunged up, feeling like I can't talk properly, not being able to hear, with a general sense of spaced outness that I'm just not particularly enjoying. And honestly, I just wish it would because I'm bored of it now. But I'm not bored of this full-length suit that I've had given to me by a man on the street. And he was on the street because he was in his car. He pulled over to give it to me. And I don't know who he was, and I'll probably never see him again. Such a strange thing to happen. Good old Dick Dastardly reminded me of the fact that this man may have been driving around for months with this in the boot. Let's talk about something that remains the same as before, and that is this car known as Voivod. I say known as Voivod. I called it Voivod because of its registration. Look, V-O-I, and Forget about the rest of it because it doesn't really match. But it needed a name, and that's what it ended up with. Currently, I'm using this car as security to block the swinging door when I'm not here. It works quite well for those purposes because it does start on the key and move perfectly fine. But it's still wanting the head gasket doing before it can go for sale anywhere. And by the next update, I promise that will change. Shut up, you clown! Residing next to the leaf-laden Rover 25 is Dr. Crane. Not a very imaginative name at all, but it's a crane, and I called it Doctor, which is obvious, but it's still in my possession and it still works, so it still deserves a place in the yard. Unlike the four-wheeled vehicle that used to reside in that spot, which wasn't motor-powered and had no brakes. It was the trailer. Did that trailer have a name? Yes, it did. It was called Liam. Liam the trailer. Liam the trailer. It just didn't really work out. 560 kilos without brakes means that you haven't got a great deal of potential for loading it up. And to think it was supposed to be a digger trailer. So eventually I just got fed up with it and took it down to the scrap metal merchants and said, here you go. And they weighed it in. Hopefully, something new that you may be noticing, I'm starting to give a little bit less of a shit when it really isn't important. That's the new me kicking in. Oh yeah, there's a new me happening right now, and it may not be to everybody's taste, but it's going to work out for me nicely. What about something else that's new? Well, down here in the lockup of dodgy electrics, we see Alison's replacement. Oh look, there's Alison's gearbox. Alison's replacement, here it is. An MGTF I have named Helen. And I've named it Helen because I think that that's a really lovely name. Just a really nice name. It denotes a character of niceness and pleasantry and not being a pain in the arse. You know, if your wife was called Helen, you'd probably smile when you use her name. Not like Karen. I mean, I don't really think that Karen's a particularly terrible name, but it's become associated with being difficult, or Olga, or Gertrude, or... I might be getting off the point somewhat. Now, providing a few things can go to plan, this could end up being my summer car. Do you know how much I would really like that? Well, I'll tell you. Quite a lot, actually. I mean, it's a solid car. It's not rusty. It's had the head gasket done. It's had all sorts of stuff, but it's failed its MOT on a few things. When I say a few things, maybe about 5 or 6 things. Like that door handle needs replacing, like it needs a bottom arm and another suspension thingy, and then it should all be fine. The emissions weren't particularly good, but maybe it just needs a jolly good run. Regardless, it's insured and it's ready for me to take next door for another MOT. And that will be happening before the next update, for sure. I missed out on having an MGF for the summer last year, and I don't intend on that happening again. What else while we're down here then? So the lockup itself looks exceedingly untidy, and there's an awful lot of work I need to do down here. But until I sort out the top lockup, I'm just going to leave it. Leave it, leave it, leave it alone. Until next week. Gosh, I've got a surprise coming. I'd like now to talk about 2 things that are the same. One of them I'm happy about, the other I'd prefer it to be different. The same place, the same situation, the same disappointing outcome. The Land Rover Freelander called James has had so little movement that I'm not even going to bother talking about it, except to say that I did do a video on this car about the starting of breaking it, and I've been so excited by that I haven't even bothered to release it. In complete contrast though, we have Dr. Meldrew, my Volvo V70 D5, which I am just shamelessly happy about. I think there isn't a better car. I bet there isn't a better car of this era. There really isn't. BMW, Mercedes, Honda, Audi, they're just not as good as this. Some of them are made better, some of them have a few features that may be a bit better, but as an overall package, this car is just something that I should never ever get rid of. And I hate saying that because I do find myself in a position where the one thing I don't want to sell is the one thing that somebody wants to buy. It's a great shape. It's not just a box on wheels, it's got curves. It's got a great colour. It looks good dirty, it looks good clean. It takes vast amounts of shit in the back and doesn't really care about it. It sounds great, it's good on fuel, and I can have my family in it knowing that there's not really anything that's going to protect them much better. As much as I enjoyed my Audi A6, the car previous to this is still better. It's stronger. It's more of a nice person's car. And I did find myself explaining to people that I'm not a typical Audi driver, and the A6 isn't a typical Audi for Audi drivers. No, it was before that. And you don't have to do that with a Volvo. You don't have to do that with a Volvo. Everybody knows Volvos are driven by nice people. I've just enjoyed it so much. Every drive is just satisfying. I've been all over the place in it. I don't have any fear about getting to my destination. I just turn the key and go. Although I do have to investigate a bit of a whistling noise coming from the turbo. I'm hoping that it's just a vacuum pipe or something like that. With all of this excitement over my Volvo, I've stayed outside in the wet a bit longer than I intended. And now my digits are cold. But now I have a solution to that. And it isn't even drinking lots of tea. For the first time ever, I found myself wanting to close this door because I don't want to waste the energy that can be produced by this. Any moment now, coming through this foil tube will be some hot air, powered by the diesel heater that I had sent to me as a gift in return of a video. I've been trying to be careful when it comes to videoing of items that are sent to me, and I've refused the push-up bras and the game consoles because I just don't really have much need for those kind of things. But a diesel heater, of course, is exactly what I need here, because it's jolly cold. Even this year, while it's been jolly warm for the time of year. So, I now have it reasonably well installed. The air intake there and the exhaust pipe going down there and finding itself a gap through the gap in the wall. It's getting going. So I don't think that this is irrelevant to this channel at all. But I've decided I'm probably going to just take anything that I get offered to me. If it doesn't work here, I'm going to bung it on the other channel where I can just have a bit of fun with it. And this thing seriously does chuck out a really good bit of heat, so I'm very, very happy with it. There is actually a second video of that particular heater, but I just haven't got around to putting it together because that's going to be part of the new lockup ways. I'm always promising to do things differently, but this time I think it really is going to happen. And now let's talk about something that has gone. And I don't just mean the nice weather. I mean a Rover 75 in Moonstone Green that I picked up and was fairly new for the last update. Well, it was a lovely car, but there was no need for me to keep it. I didn't advertise it, I didn't put it up for sale, but I still sold it. I sold it to my friend Alex of the YouTube channel All Things Alex, and I delivered it all the way to Southampton. And then, within a mile of his ownership, he managed to crash it. It was reasonably superficial damage, and he just had to pay to get the bumper sorted out on it. And I hope the car serves him well. In fact, I'm sure it will. Why wouldn't it do? Whilst it's raining, I may as well step outside and enjoy talking about this Rover 45, which, as you can see, is still here, and nothing's changed. Nothing at all. It's a shame. On the last update I was talking about I might end up having to just try and keep it myself, even though I don't want it. Well, I'm still kind of thinking that now, probably because, like with any other Rover, the moment I get into it and start using the steering wheel, I think, gosh, these are really nice, aren't they? And it's the same with this. It's the same. It's been here all this time because I've promised to hang on to it for a friend of mine who lives in the Outer Hebrides, who wants to collect it 4 months ago. But he hasn't been down 3 months back I was thinking, I've got a feeling this isn't really going to happen. That same feeling hasn't got any better. I've got a feeling he isn't going to buy it after all. So now I've got to decide, do I try and find somebody else to buy it? Realistically, every car that's in the yard is costing £30 a month to store. That's how I look at it. When I divide up the spaces against the amount of rent I have to pay. So it's not a lot, but I prefer to have something there that I'm going to do something with. Tom's car, the big hairy cactus man, is still here, still on the same ramp, still with absolutely no change at all. The only progress is really this bit of carpet that I put on the bonnet for no reason other than just for someone to put it. So what can we say about this? Well, we can say that he does pay to keep it here, but honestly I prefer if it just wasn't here, I think. But until he's got somewhere else to take it, there's not really much choice about it. I haven't actually seen him for about 7 months now, although he does contact me from time to time to tell me something. Still here, but maybe not for much longer. Zippy! Yep, Zippy, the not tuk-tuk, but three-wheeled van with a motorbike engine. Also now known as Higgle Piggle. Another vehicle that's basically been sat here doing nothing, but has had 2 videos on it already, and a third one with footage dating back months ago that I am yet to bung into a video. Anyway, for my convenience, I've had it just backed into that corner just there for quite a while, because it's not that much in the way. But now, there's no MGF in here. I have more room. So I'll push this out to the middle so I can get back to doing these edges. Whilst this van may remain here for a little while, everything's going to change around it. And I'm really, really getting into it. Over on this side of the lockup, the shelves have moved. Not by themselves, I moved them. I moved them because I didn't see the point in that area there being empty when I can't really get at it that well anyway. So this area now will be removed of its MGF bits and that picnic basket, and I'm going to start the process of everything that I simply don't need unless it's for decorative purposes, like dog and bone over there, and the Simon's illustration of my car is going to go. So that microwave up there, I don't need it. I've made an effort not to need it. Not because I don't want to eat warm food, but the kind of things you would warm up in a microwave for the same reason as I don't have a toaster any longer. I'm not eating toast, I'm not eating pasties, I'm not warming food up. If I can't stay here for the duration of the day without eating anything, then I think there's something wrong. So I don't need that here. Not going to get rid of the kettle though, but I am coming close to getting rid of the fridge because it's inefficient and it's just storing stuff that I'm never going to use. Like these beers. These have been in here way over a year now. They're well and truly off and out of date. But I can't find a date on there. No, I can't see one. From tomorrow I'm going to be making a really big push to get things for sale that I simply haven't bothered putting up for sale. So this area down here has been hidden. Yeah, it's got loads of parts that I don't need and I don't really want. That dog's bed needs chucking. The electric bike is still here. I have some sun visors here, the ones with the lights in, that I really need to clean up and sell. What else? Well, there is a new vehicle here. It's a vehicle I'm not going to show you because it will spoil the next video. And it's not going to be difficult to spoil as it is. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. But it's quite different to what you'd expect. And speaking of which, something that I really didn't expect, something that really blew me away, is this. Look, a recovery truck. Yes, it's the same recovery truck that's been here for about 10 months. But the difference is, for quite a while, this vehicle sat in the yard taking up a big space, and now it has every right to take up a big space because it's mine. I put a new battery in it and now it starts. And the engine is sweet as you get for one of these. So that's quite a triumphant event, isn't it? But how is it mine? How can I afford a recovery truck? Well, the fact is I can't. I had it given to me. And that is the generosity that sometimes is spread about by people when one way to deal with a problem is just to offload it on somebody else. Currently, I have absolutely no use for a recovery truck at all, but I'm definitely not going to look the gift horse in the mouth, so to speak. And next year, when we have some weather that isn't wet, I'm going to see if I can weld it up. It's going to be a big job, a really big job. And maybe Allegro Man will be helping me a bit with some of it, but I don't actually know when. The fact is you can't do welding outside in the rain. I can't do it here because the vehicle is way too long to fit in front of the lockup, so it's got to be done around the back. And around the back is always incredibly grotty. Maybe when I can get around to doing it, everything else around here will have changed for the better as well anyway. And I'm certainly going to be putting things into motion to make sure that is what happens. Over the past few years, anyone that's been here long enough will have seen my activities become more and more fruitless as I mumble through the yard, getting things wrong, not only mechanically, but financially as well. And I am definitely at that point now where I have to go one way or the other. And for some bizarre reason, I've managed to have reached out and grabbed myself a whole load of confidence from absolutely nowhere. And I've got a bit of a plan on the go. I'm going to rebuild stuff from the ground up, starting with nothing, starting at that proper bottom point. And you know what? It feels exciting. It feels exciting to be in such a dire situation that it can't get any worse. Look, this is a real smile. And as I look around the yard and I see shit everywhere, at least I can say it's not even my shit, because all of my shit is contained within the two lockups and a bit around the back there. Finally, we have Nigel, the star of the show that's been convalescing in this corner of the yard for 3 months. And you know why? Because I haven't done the job on it that I needed. So here come the excuses. It's been wet. That's the main excuse. There's nothing pleasant about scrabbling around on the floor in the wet, trying to take off a gearbox. It's been cold. I haven't been here that much. And more than that, I just haven't had the motivation, to the extent where I've kind of almost given up on having the car. I felt like I've come to a natural end of ownership with this, because it just represents something that doesn't feel like it's there any longer. But actually, that's bollocks, because it does. This car is exactly what my channel and I am all about. Something completely pointless and something completely stupid and unique. I've come close to just simply letting somebody else take it off my hands. But I know I'm going to regret that. It's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. But it shouldn't be a problem, should it? It's a car, it's not a problem, is it? I mean, in actual fact, it's not a problem at all. It's just sat here. It's not taking up much space. I don't need it. I certainly won't be using it this time of the year anyway. Well, I mean, I did do last year. And so with that, I'm off. I'm off home. It's going dark. It's Sunday. Only a few more days before we start getting a bit more light during the day, and that'll make everything much better. That's the tipping point where winter suddenly has lost its stranglehold on your mood. And 21st comes around and you know that is the shortest day of the year. Things are only going to get better. So thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you for being a channel member or a subscriber or both. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. Thank you for doing more than one comment. Thank you for watching it to the end. Thank you for clicking on it and not even liking it. Thank you for disliking it. Thank you, whatever I have to say thank you for. I'm happy, whatever the case. Bye-bye.